So today we're going to speak about the law of abundance. Now let's roll that intro. So welcome back. My name's I'm from Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. Now today we're going to speak about the law of abundance. Now this is a very important law. So I'm just going to be quoting a lot of texts from the book as I felt it was so important that I needed to share with you what the law of abundance is. So let me just start with that. What is the law of abundance? The law of abundance is simple and fact is this. The law of abundance is what you have around you. When you're feeling contented, when you have the love of your life, you have a beautiful child, you have a good job, and you're feeling content. That is abundance. When you have abundance is when you can start to manifest bigger and better and greater things. So let me quote to you what Epicurus said. He's a philosopher he's a Greek philosopher. He said, "It's not what you have, but what you enjoy constraints our abundance." That is so true. So 100% true. It's not what you have, it's what you enjoy brings abundance. You may not have the nice car. You may not have the nice home. You may not have the perfect person around you. You may not have all these things around you, but abundance is the template for, guess what? For gratitude. Yes. I'm going to start speaking about gratitude in my next video. But what I wanted to kind of point out was that abundance is you can feel abundant when you don't have anything. And I'm sure you saw my last video when I said that I was homeless, I was in hospital, and I had nothing. Physically, financially, I had nothing. But I had abundance. I had the love around me. I had my best friend. I had my brothers. You know, I had the love of God most of all. Above, even when I had visiting days and nobody came to visit, I could sit and read my manuscripts. I could sit and read ancient texts. I can sit and meditate and talk to God. That was my abundance. What you need to find out is what your abundance is. It's a thing you can do when you're alone and you don't necessarily need people around you. Now we need to find that out, what that particular thing is for you, what brings you abundance. Maybe it's drawing, maybe it's sketching, maybe it's painting, maybe it's doing crafts, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's going to a gym, maybe it's working on a car. I know when I was working on my cars, I found that so therapeutic. And everyone said, well, why would you? Because I had to work things out. It just brought me solidarity and abundance and peace, because at the end, I could see the work I put in and what it received at the end of it, the result. The other thing is well, when people don't understand, when people go to the gym and they almost killing themselves at the gym, and everyone's going, why do you work so hard at the gym? They're abundant because that pain barrier you get through, that's their abundance. And you believe it or not, if you look within everything you do, everything you know that you find is or makes you realize you have abundance, there is an element of pain in it or overcoming. So when you're drawing and you have to get it right as an artist, when I'm painting and I don't get the lines right, I don't get the shape right, I don't get the landscape right, the frustration, many times I kicked over the easel and got really frustrated, but then had to come back to the center of oneself to work out what though and work out why I am actually standing there painting, drawing, sketching. When I'm building something, when I designed the terrace and looking, being out there for over 6 hours straight, just working away, putting the plants in place, putting the grass in place, building stuff. And when it didn't look right, reshape it again, altering that prototype to achieve your greater goal. There's a part what I've done, I brought this into sections, right? So I've done it with questions that people's asked me, and I've written it in a book, and then I kind of answered it. So I want to just kind of use these extracts, and I want to talk about one stone which would help you with the law of abundance. So this part says, is there a way I can keep feeling abundance? And I said, yes, it's called a gratitude stone. Now that's citrine. The citrine stone is a success stone. And that can cover everything, whether it's love, relationships, friends, family, work, jobs, whatever. That citrine stone will cover everything because it's about you achieving success. Then I went on to said, this stone will remind you of the things that you should be thankful for. We often forget the important things of people in our lives as we have tried and done and we hustled and bustled every day. And then I went on to say, I would like to point out that when we receive things in abundance, your soul opens up and allows the law of attraction to bring even more things to you to make your life more abundant. And as I said earlier about having abundance or recognizing abundance, when you recognize the abundance, opens up the door to other abilities to have more riches into your life. And when you have the abundance and you recognize the abundance, as I said, that is again equals the law of gratitude. And I will refer back to this video when I talk about the law of gratitude. But the law of abundance and gratitude is different. When you have gratitude, without going too deep into it, when you have gratitude, you recognize what you have. Okay? You have gratitude. Okay, thank you so much for achieving that. It's like saying thank you. When you're abundant, it's a feeling. I'm feeling abundant. There's a difference. And that's about feeling normally. It's normally about feeling. And then I went on to say, you receive positives, don't look at the negatives. I've often known many clients that have worked and achieved their desires, then their goals, and then they have received the feeling of uncertainty. This is interesting, as many times they complain that do not or have not been given a break, and they do not look at the negative. The remarks here is, I'm not sure this is right, or I don't think we can or should receive this. So many people, even though they have, when I pointed out, I said they have achieved their goals and desires, they don't realize the abundance in it. Okay, so say if, for example, you want to win money, you want money. That's the best way to explain it. You want money, or you want to be financially secure. Say someone passes away, God forbid it doesn't happen, but say someone passes away and you inherit. You get all this money, or you win a lottery, you're like, yeah, you're really happy. But you don't realize, you don't have the abundance that you're abundant because you haven't worked towards it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like a stepping stone. If you go along the stepping stones and you go through life, you make these little stepping stones and you do these little goals and you achieve your goal, your overall goal, like milestones, and you achieve your overall goal, that's when you recognize what abundance is. And then the second question said, if everyone has abundance, will it run out? I love that. It's a really good question. And I simply said, no, it will never run out. If a wealthy man or woman, do you think is worried about being more wealthy? No, they worry about how much more money they can make. When I talk about wealthy, I am referring to financial wealth. Now, there's a difference for me, between wealth and rich. Now, rich, you can be cash rich. You could be wealthy, I feel, is more of a feeling. So you could be wealthy in love. You wouldn't necessarily, yeah, I'm rich in love, would you? You know, or you could say, yeah, I'm wealthy. So I could say I'm wealthy and I've got nice cars, a nice house, and a nice partner and kids. But I could say I'm wealthy, but I've just got children and a partner, but not the financial aspect. That's your perception of what wealthy is. Do you ever? You always hear people say they're cash rich. They don't say they're cash wealthy. You know, it's cash rich. There seems to be the subliminal meaning to being rich is associated to money, and wealthy must be more. Seems to be more of an emotion associated to emotions. And then I go on to say, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time focusing on trying to be wealthy, true. But deep within my mind, what I wanted was a loving family of my own. As I was growing up in East London, it was hard as a young black man from a family of 5. I was very young with a partner and had my first child, Jordan. In all honesty, it was the best choice I ever made. I was wealthy. I was emotionally wealthy. I had a family, the links, and I go back and I say that, you know, I was abundant. I'm abundant now. You know, God's blessed me. And I honestly say that. And that's why God's going to continue to keep blessing me, because I recognize that all my wealth I've achieved and going on to achieve is because of him. You know, I'm going to be wealthy, even more wealthy. My choices, I was a provider and had a lot to provide. My actions were not supportive thinking. What I was thinking was greater than my actions. Therefore, the law of attraction took hold, and greater energy, which I have children, and which made me even more wealthy, because that's when I had my second son, Josh, and made me even more wealthy because I was wealthy at that time, in that moment. And then I did not recognize I was wealthy and I lost things. And that's a warning. Recognize you're wealthy, appreciate what you have gratitude what you have, or you will lose it. Trust me, I've been there. So, the other question is, I never felt that I could be happy. Why should it change now? Get that a lot. Get that hell of a lot. And I just responded, that's a great question. A very good question. Why now? Why when you're probably 70, or when you're 60, or when you're 90, or when you're 20, or when you're 15, or when you're, 45, whatever age you are, why would it happen then? And my simple answer to that was, that's a good question. Why should it not happen now? Why should something that you give your life to, a better way of thinking, has more closeness with your loved ones will come? Why should you not have it? Why not? I have seen many people who have had nothing because something greater. I'm not saying world leaders, but they have a position in society. When I see single mothers who have nothing, having 2 jobs, maybe 3 even, and they cannot afford to live, but yet their children, and they're living on a poverty line, but yet their children are happy. Yeah, I see people who go to work, or who don't go to work actually, who have gold chains and great material things. This frustrates me. But it's their choice. At the end of the day, it's their choice. What they do with their money at the end of the day, isn't it? So this mother I was referring to, who later became a manager in a finance company, she had a goal. She said no. The mother I was referring to, she became a manager of a finance company. She had a goal. She said no to people who did not believe in her. She used to call to her knowledge in time management to face the challenges head on. She did not sit on the sideline. She did not complain. She had goals and she went out to receive her goals, and she always believed in her desires and her abundance. Now, the calling of abundance, she used her energy and called out to the source to help her. With her power of guidance, and the mother is now a successful businesswoman, 2 children, and continues and looks even better than she ever did. That was someone I worked with. She had nothing. Her partner sadly died and was left with two children under the age, I think it was 11. And she was always being looked after because the husband was working and she didn't need to work, but she decided to get a job. So she went out to get a job, and then she got another job because she needed to provide for her family. And she provided for her family, but she wanted to be above the threshold. Within that, she decided to obviously do an apprenticeship and kind of work her way up. And she did. She became, as I said, a finance manager. She became wealthy. Her children went into teens. It was about 6 or 7 years later. She graduated, got her master's, and now is a well-known, successful CEO. Amazing story. And people say, well, that's a success story. Yeah, it is a success story, but it's not unique. It's unique if you think it's not possible. She knew she had abundance because she knew she had a loving family. She knew when she came home after studying, after working, and then she picked her children up, she went home and she sat, remember she had telling me Friday and Saturday nights was munchy nights and munchy days. Saturday, she always spent without fail with her kids, without fail. She always made sure her kids done their homework when she got home, and she always, on Friday and Saturday night, they all cuddled on the sofa and watched telly or watch a movie. And people thought that was strange. Why didn't she go out? She refused to go out with friends from work, though she could afford to do it, but she knew that her family was key. She obviously later on met somebody along the way, and then she has another child, and the kids are grown up, and this child is obviously between her and her partner. But she could have been better that her partner died. It was through just sheer accident. He passed away. God rest his soul. But the reality is like the law of abundance is entwined within that in order to make it happen. And because of that, she grew. And because when you recognize that what abundance you do have, it can only go on to bigger and better things. The only way it won't, I have to honestly say, is if you start looking at yourself and going, oh, well, and start being down about yourself. We all have those days. We need to recognize it and then push on through it. And what I'm trying to do within these videos of the source is just give you an insight into what the source book is about. It's a stepping stone. You can start on the law of abundance. You can start on the law of gratitude, the law of polarity. You can start on the law of actions or whatever. You can start anywhere in the book, but it's so encapsulating. It would talk about situations, but if you start at the beginning and build on it, it's like a stepping stone. And I said you don't have to start from the beginning. But if you start from the beginning, it'll build on it. And especially if you don't know much about law of attraction, it's always good to start from the beginning because it'll help you to kind of like build on it. And I said at the beginning, if you see my other video, which I kind of give you a snapshot into it, it tells you about what the certain things are about these different laws about. It gives you a little snap into it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to end the video on that there, and I'm going to come back next time and talk about the next law. And look, you stay blessed, you stay safe, and keep using them laws to enhance yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.